Okay, there's another user called Tom. So here I'm going to see it when it starts. So I'm going to try and log in as that Tom user. Tom, password. Okay, it says that Windows cannot connect using the username and provide the password. Try again. Oh, that doesn't work. So let's go and see that user. On the tools, users and computers. Oh, I don't have a Tom. I have a Pat. Let's go and try and connect as Pat. So Windows 7. Cancel this. Try and connect as Pat. And Contoso. Yeah, do you remember the password authentication? It's trying to go through NPS. So we have to go to Pat on the DC1, and then under properties of Pat, dial in uses allow access, no control through NPS network policy. There's going to be a lesson on that in the future. So allow access, okay, and then try again, go to client 7 and redial. Yeah, as you can see that Pat now is configured. It's connected, sorry. If I right click this connection, so go and say properties of that, I can change the host name for that connection, or the IP address, options, redial attempts, this you can self-explanatory, security, type of VPN. Here we can choose, do we want point-to-point tunneling protocol, layer 2 tunneling protocol, secure socket tunneling protocol, or iKey, and then authentication, data encryption, require encryption, no encryption, and then authentication, MS Chat version 2, PEEP, or user certificates. Networking, here we're going to visit about split tunneling. So if I click on the IP version 4, go to properties and advanced, about this gateway on the remote network. We'll come back to this. So go back to the slides. Now we looked at configuring user dial-in settings, configure routing and remote access as a VPN server, configure a VPN client, and then we have a authentication, different authentication protocol. First we have a password authentication protocol, or PAP. This uses the plain text passwords, typically used if the remote access client and remote access server cannot negotiate a more secure form of validation. Security level, the least secure authentication protocol. Does not protect against replay attack, remote client impersonation, or remote server impersonation. Then we have a challenge handshake authentication protocol, a challenge response authentication protocol that uses the industry standard MD5 hashing to encrypt the response. Requires a plain text version of the password to validate the challenge response. Does not protect against remote server impersonation. And MS Chat version 2. The first one, the MS Chat, just chat, is only server authenticating the client. The client doesn't authenticate the server. The MS Chat version 2 is two-way authentication, and it's called a mutual authentication, where the client authenticates the server as well as the server authenticating the client. Provides a stronger security than CHAP and one-way encryption. It uses MD5, which is one-way encryption. Or EAP, the fourth protocol, allows the arbitrary authentication of a remote access connection. It offers strongest security by providing the most flexibility in authentication variation. So with the EAP you can use the different types of authentication like PEEP. Okay, now we move to DHCP relay agent. That was it about the VPN. As far as the VPN is concerned, so we will come back to this again. But we saw on here we had the client machine. There was this client machine was first sitting inside here, was communicating fine, no problem. And then this client machine moved outside to the internet. We created this server as a VPN server, had two network cards, one towards the local area network and another network card towards the internet. The client machine connected to the internet with that address, and then it can connect. It was VPNed to the inside network. Now DHCP relay agent is if you have a router there and this router is connected to the DHCP server on this side, on this network, 192.168.11.0, that's a pretend network, yeah? And then this DHCP server has got 192.168.11.6 IP address. And then on this network, the router is connected to this network 10.110/24, and it's got a DHCP client on this network. Now when the DHCP client sends a DHCP discovery message, that message is broadcast. The first message on the DORA process is discovery, DHCP discovery. It's a broadcast. Now the routers are configured to drop every broadcast. They're not going to relay the broadcast. So when the broadcast hits the router will say, sorry, I can't forward any broadcast outside of your network subnet. So it has to be on this subnet only. So you have to configure DHCP relay agent. Now relay agent needs to be configured on this interface, on the interface that you hear the broadcast messages, right? Don't go out and configure here because there's not going to be any broadcast on this interface. So it has to be on this interface. So once you hear the broadcast, the router is going to unicast those messages to the DHCP server. Split tunneling is something like we have, for example, this client machine. It's got two addresses. One, there's a public, is a physical NIC address, and then one virtual VPN address, for example, for that private network here. Now, what happens when this client machine doesn't want to go to this private network, but wants to go to the internet, for example, Google? How are you going to send the packet? Are you going to send them first to that VPN, then translate it through NAT and then go to the Google? Or do you want to go directly for the Google? So that's called a split tunneling. If you use, for example, all the private communication through that network and everything else through the public IP address. To configure, you go to that VPN connection properties, select TCP/IPv4, and then on the advanced of that properties, you untick this if you want to use if you don't want to use a default gateway on the remote network. So if I go to my client machine, which was VPN 7, Windows 7. So first we need to, on the VPN network here, right click, go to properties, then networking, then TCP/IP v4 properties of that, and then advanced, we have a use default gateway on a remote network. So if you have this ticked, what it's going to do is every message, doesn't matter where you're going, even if you go to the Google or different third-party servers, they're going to go first to the VPN, they're going to go through the network or NAT, and then they're going to go to the internet, come back, do the NAT, come back to you. So it's like a twice going through the VPN link. If you untick it, it just means like a split tunneling. Everything else is going to go to the internet, is going to use your physical IP address or physical network interface card IP address. Okay. Routing terms. Now we have a routing, the process of selecting a path in a network where data will be sent. Routers, that's a routing, the process of selecting the path or the best path in the network where the data will be sent. Routers are the devices that operate on the OSI reference model layer 3 that they're gonna keep these routing paths. Then we have a layer 2 switches. These are, for example, will be on the access layer of the network, operates of the layer 2 OSI model that are used to connect a host to a network by performing packet switching that allows traffic to be sent only to the where it needs to be sent based on the mapping of MAC addresses on local devices. And then we have a layer 3 switches. These switches, they can do the routing as well, but only on the without WAN, because we can't put serial cards on that. Routing table, a data table stored in a router or network computer that lists